Thank you for choosing to watch me again today. We are talking about the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act. It's famously known as the BELA Act. My colleagues, teachers. A lot of you, are very angry. Nkwatile man, hey nkwatile yo, nkwatile nini, nkwatile ibhela, nkwatile ibhela, hey nkwatile man. You are very angry, ne? Colleagues, the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, that is BELA. It's not what you think, colleagues. It's not what you think. You are angry for nothing. Colleagues. Why are you angry? We have the South African Schools Act, colleagues. The South African Schools Act, number 84 of 1996. The South African Schools Act, it talks about a lot of things, or how a school should be running, or how a school is run by management, by SGB, by teachers. Everything that happens in a school is covered in the South African Schools Act. So now, coming to the BELA Act, the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act is there. It's amending the South African Schools Act. It's not there to change the South African Schools Act altogether. It's just there to strengthen, you see, to tighten the loose bolts there, South African Schools Act. You're not supposed to be angry. Actually, BELA is there to make sure that we do what is expected from us as teachers and as educators and as policy implementers. Isn't it that we implement, we don't make policies? The policies, people in parliament, they're the ones who are responsible for making policies. So it is the responsibility of government to amend my policies. So after some time, policies they get amended, time change and all that. So BELA is all about that. Never, colleagues. I am going to touch a few things. You are very angry. So I will touch just one or two things. BELA Act, colleagues, it prohibits corporal punishment in schools. BELA prohibits corporal punishment in schools. If you go and check Section 10 of the South African Schools Act, it's exactly the same. It says corporal punishment is prohibited in schools. So what BELA does, it now emphasizes and also highlights the consequences as to what is it that must be done or that must happen if a teacher is found to have punished learners using the corporal punishment. Okay, so it has been there, South African Schools Act. We know that we are not allowed to punish our learners. However, we are now even scared to talk to the learners. No, you shouldn't be scared to talk to the learners. The disciplinary measures that we were using before BELA, you still apply them, colleagues. Nothing has changed there. Okay. BELA Act, put in details what corporal punishment is. The act of corporal punishment includes hitting, it includes pinching, it includes throwing objects, forcing uncomfortable positions, denying meals, denying learners access to the toilet, and any other acts that may belittle or humiliate or threaten a learner. They are prohibited. Colleagues, this is obvious. Now as a parent, we are teachers, but we are also parents, isn't it? You wouldn't want your child to be subjected to such. Okay, so the only problem, or I think my colleagues are now they are scared. You are now scared to discipline learners. Let us continue disciplining learners. If learners they are breaking the rules, let us discipline them. However, when we discipline them, let us discipline them the right way, not using corporal punishment. Okay, in my tertiary institutions or in the universities that we went to, we were taught on how to discipline learners. Apart from corporal punishment, there are a lot of things that you can do in this regard to make sure that you do not punish learners corporally. Let me take let's see, denying learners to have their meals during break. Now, let's say a child is on detention, a break detention. You say the child must not go to break. Remember, kids, they are eating during break, right? So they must eat during break. So if you say the kids must be in detention and do not eat, it's now contradicting with BELA, right? So what you do is you still detain the kids during break. However, you allow them time for them to go and have their lunch. Okay. They are not saying you must now let learners loose, do whatever they want. No, we still punish them, but not corporally. So we allow them to eat their meals. You just allow a specific time to say, okay, your break is 30 minutes, you're gonna be detained for 20 minutes. Then the last 10 minutes you are given to go and eat or have your lunch. Is it, colleagues? So don't say we're not disciplining them at all. Okay, we still discipline them. I know they said here you must not belittle learners or humiliate them or threaten them in any way. Of course, Abati, they are not saying you must not shout at the learners. We shout at them. Colleagues, if you don't shout at the learners, they're going to play with you. We shout at them, but we don't throw insults. Okay, but we still do shout at them. Shouting is not abuse, it's not corporal punishment. Of course, you cannot come with a soft voice if a learner did not write his or her homework. You have the duty and the responsibility as a teacher to discipline the child. If a child did not write his or her homework, you cannot be nice to the child. No, you must shout at the child. The child did not write. Do something as a teacher. Don't say the BELA does not allow me. No, colleagues. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, we still discipline the learners. What BELA does not want is us abusing the learners. But disciplining them, we still do, colleagues. And please don't say BELA is here to stop you from doing your duties. No, we discipline the learners. We let them sit in the afternoon for detention. We let them do community activities. We let them clean outside. Yes, you let them clean outside. It's called a community service. Of course, it must come after the disciplinary committee of the school has had a hearing. During hearing, maybe let's say the learner is committed a certain misconduct. Then the disciplinary committee of the school sits. Then the parents of those learners, they are invited. Then the committee comes with a solution or a decision to say the learner is supposed to take a community service. Community service, it can be cleaning. So the parent knows about it. Maybe we say the community service starts at 2. The learner knows that at 2, I'm going to help the people who are cleaning the school to clean the school around. There is no corporal punishment. The parent knows about it, and we gave the parent to say it starts from 2 in the afternoon until maybe 3:30, maybe for 3 or 4 days. The parents know about it, everyone knows about it, there is supervision, so the learners are safe, and there is no BELA that has been contravened there. So we still discipline the learners. But what we don't do is to beat them as shy, colleagues. We don't pinch them, we don't insult them, we don't make them to feel uncomfortable, but we still discipline them, colleagues. So BELA or no BELA, we still discipline our learners in our schools. Okay, colleagues, don't tell me BELA says you're not allowed to discipline the learners. Let's discipline them, but as shy, okay? Please do not beat them, do not hit them in any way. You will be in trouble. Okay, don't touch, but you must teach. If they are wrong, discipline them. I've heard some colleagues saying if the learners say they want to go to the toilet, BELA says I must not deny them access to the toilet. Hey colleagues, the kids will play with you. But don't colleagues. You cannot have 5 kids going out of the class to say they want to go to the toilet. No, we don't do that. Now you must be reasonable as a teacher. You can see if learners are playing with you. Okay, let's say it's learner, you must not deny them access to the toilet. Okay, there are class rules. Maybe in your class, just set rules to say at a time I only allow 2 learners to go out to the toilet. So if a learner says I want to go to the toilet and already there are 2 learners that are outside, and you gave them permission slips to say you can go out, then now a 3rd learner says I want to go to the toilet. You tell the child to wait for the 2 that are outside, then when they come back, then you can allow the child to go. And be firm to an extent that the kids don't now be in a queue to say they are waiting for this one to come, then this one comes. Then you must draw a line to say you must know that you go to the toilet during break. So you only go out if it's an emergency. So colleagues, let us not abandon our duties and say BELA is saying this. No. It will be wrong of you if the learner will come and say maybe I'm having a stomach ache or a running stomach, then I need to go to the toilet now and then you say no, the child must not go, then you are contravening with BELA. That will be wrong. Okay, if the child is reported, then you must allow the child to go out, but you must give them a slip. Let us have the permission slips in our classes to say here is a slip that says the child will be going to the toilet, or before the child goes they must have the slip, because if the principal meets the child outside without a slip, the principal is having a right to send the child back to class. The principal will assume that the child is out without permission. So if they find them outside, they will send them back to class. So prepare those permits, those permission slips to say if you go to the toilet, you are having a ticket. Then they go with the ticket to the toilet, and don't have many tickets in your class. I would say two max. Don't have more than that, so that you cannot have a lot of learners outside. Yeah, so BELA, colleagues, is not there to stop us. Then the Minister Siviwe, he gazetted, or he's waiting for public comments, for people to comment on the issue of admission, the admission of undocumented learners, or admission in general in schools. What BELA now is saying about admission, it says schools must admit learners. They must not look at documents of these learners. As long as a learner is within the borders of South Africa, they are having a right to be at school. Okay, so what BELA says, it says the undocumented learners, I will just pick this one. Okay, yeah, it says the right to basic education extends to everyone within the boundaries of South Africa, regardless of their nationality and immigration status. Learners without valid documentation are equally entitled to admission to public schools. Learners who do not have documentation are equally entitled for admission in schools. So principals are having a responsibility to admit learners that do not have documents, as long as they meet the requirements of being admitted in a school. So you cannot deny them admission based on the fact that they are foreign nationals. However, once admitted, it's the principal of a public school must within 7 days of admission report to the HOD or the education district official of any instance where learners are admitted without documentation. Then the HOD or a person that is delegated must hold the parents of these learners accountable to acquire the birth certificates of such learners. So the department must then make follow-up with the parents of these learners to get the necessary documentation, which does not happen. Once learners are admitted, it becomes a problem of the school. The principal is on his own. The department is not there. They just forced to say, take the child without documents. Then they say, you must make follow-ups. You make follow-up. The parent does not have a single document to present Home Affairs for this documentation. So it ends up being a problem of the school. That's why schools are having a lot of learners that do not have documents. So again, SGPs, they were angry to say now the department or the HOD is taking their powers as far as admission is concerned. That's not the case. As far as admission is concerned, it's the responsibility of the SGP being advised by the school principal. Okay, so admission must still happen and it must still be conducted by the SGP. The department does not decide for the SGP. The SGP decides on what happens as far as admission is concerned. However, if parents are not happy with the way SGPs are running, because they must run this admission process within the confines of the law, so parents are having the right to go and report to the department or appeal if their kids were not admitted. Okay, what happens is schools in town, they are the ones who are having this problem of admission. Okay, they've got their own rules to say this school will take learners within their feeder, and then the school will take learners within their feeder. You find out that learners from here, they want to go to the school that is there, and the school that is no there is not admitting them. Learners that are in townships, they want to come to schools that are in town, and people in town, they don't admit them. Okay, kuyenteka lokho vele, we all have preferences ukuthi where do we want to take our children to. Siyati-decidela colleagues angithi. Yes. And then again, SGBs, they also have the right to decide on the language policy. The language policy as well is also there with BELA. It was one of the factors that people were not happy about, to say who decides on the language policy of the school. Again, the SGB decides on the languages that must be taught within the school. It's not the department. However, when the SGB decides, they must be reasonable. Okay, you cannot come to an area that let me take Nelspruit. You cannot come now and say you want to introduce a Setswana, Sivenda, a Venda, Ndebele in an area of Swati speaking people. Okay, so you look at those aspects, and the school must be in a position to afford to get teachers that will be able to teach that subject, and learners who are also speaking that language at that time. But it's a decision that is taken by the SGB on the languages that must be taught in school. But however, SGBs, they must be reasonable when it comes to those things. That is why we've got problems when it comes to schools are experiencing challenges with Afrikaans mostly, because most schools, they are having Afrikaans. So people will say the local people around the school, they are mostly not speaking Afrikaans. However, Afrikaans is there in schools. The system has been like that, and it's sometimes advantageous to the learners. Let's say maybe they relocate from here, they want to go to Joburg. All schools in Joburg, especially the fee-paying schools, quintile 4 and 5 schools, they do have Afrikaans, so it becomes easy for the child to when they are relocating. I think it's one of the things that they looked at. But the policy in a school, it remains the responsibility of the school governing body. I wanted to talk about BELA, colleagues. Stop this thing of you saying you can't discipline learners because they is BELA. Yeah, no, stop it, colleagues. Let us continue disciplining them. Sure.